Good morning, folks. How is everybody?
Good. How about you, Jack?
Good.
Trying to be normal in the new world we're living in, and not doing my hair because I got nowhere to be except here, like 5 Zoom calls a day. Well, thanks everybody for jumping on here. I'd like to start right away. I really want to show you real quick. I know that our office is sending out a statistic every week. One of my coaching, the groups that I'm in, we have to track these numbers here that you'll see up here, the new listings, and we started from March 3rd. We're in the process of doing this for a year ago. We don't have it today, but this is just giving us for the last month what's happening. The biggest thing for me is pendings, of course, which, the beginning of the March, we had 336. And at the end of last week, we had, or the end of, as of last Monday, because there's a big lag time in reporting. We know, some offices hold things to the end of the week, whatever. But for the weekend of 4/6, there were only 80 pendings. This is in all of Philadelphia County. So we're breaking this down. Like I said, we're trying to go further back to a year ago, and then we're going to do what we call the alley, which is Spring Garden to Washington Avenue, and see, because that's mostly where we work. You could do this very easily for where you work, just to see where this is going. The new listings, of course, none of this is surprising, right? People are scared, so kind of pulling back. But I need, Gary Keller says, know your numbers, and that's where we're at. So today we're talking about lead generation and 2 lead generation techniques that you can apply today for no money. They are not easy, which is why we're really good at getting results from it, because most people want easy, and when it gets a little bit hard, they pull away and they stop doing it. And I'm kind of persistent. I'm a believer that persistence beats talent every day of the week, and we just keep going with it. So one of our best techniques for listings, and whenever this ends, there's going to be a lot of listings, right? There are a lot of people now that are on the sidelines waiting to do something. So as we saw in those numbers, so we are contacting people we're really laying into listings hardcore. And this is how we do it. That should be a song. We use Top Producer as our contact, our CRM is Top Producer. And when I open Top Producer every day, I get 15 people to call. It just automatically populates who to call. Now I know Jennifer Simpkins was a seller, so she doesn't have a home to do this particular theory on. Karen Asanovich, same thing. Investor, she sold 5 duplexes 2 years ago, nothing. Megan Mahoney, this client, actually owns a home now. So we'll open her contact, and this is going to work whether you have Google, hopefully, whatever contact management system you're using. This gives me the address of her property. And so we are going to go next into RPR, which you also get for free. And as a member of the National Association of Realtors, you could just type in narrpr.com. This will come up. You have to put your NARDS number in, and it will give you this. And we can type in, what was her address? 1738 Annan Siegel. This will populate a mini, a very in-depth comparative market analysis. And this RPR report, Realtor Property Resource Report, appeals to everybody because there's photos in here, there are numbers for their graphs, a lot of data about the neighborhood. We just simply send this. I generally don't make any edits to this. They paid $227, and now it's worth $284. We just create the report. I have her email address in my contact management system somewhere. Send the report to her. I'm going to send it to myself so that you can see exactly what happens here. so you can see what it is that they get. Now you can write a little you can write a comment in if you like. Sometimes I'm like, wow, your appreciation, right now we're writing, hope you're safe, hope your family's safe in this new world that we're living in. This appreciation's not bad. I'm not trying to get them to list their house or to sell their house. All I'm saying is this is what your property is worth right now based on this. What I want is engagement. The name of my lead generation game, and I do this for all, I own a couple of other businesses besides residential real estate, and our game, the main focus of all of our lead generation is for people to contact us. It's about attraction rather than promotion. Promotion is calling people, cold calling people, which I haven't done for years, sending emails, sending postcards, doing open houses. That is all promotion of me. And sometimes you have to do that, especially in the beginning. I had to do it for years. But now this is attraction. And part of the attraction, the beginning of the attraction is engagement. I need them to say something. I sent 5 of these, or I sent 6 of them on Friday, and 5 of the people responded to my email, to this. They were like, oh, the one guy said, Vinny said, hey, Jack, I don't know if you know, we got a divorce and I brought my wife out of the house and it looks like I may not be able to afford this. I won't know till the end of the year. I might have to sell it. That's a very hot lead. So we send that to them. Let's see if we can see what the report looks like. Not yet. It takes a few minutes. It's still generating. Usually it just gets sent to them. I have never hit the limit here. We've gotten up to about 75 a day. It takes a few minutes to do this, right? But again, it's really, you could go, so who you can focus this on. In our case, we have a lot, we have, 1,600 clients in the last 14 something years that are in that database. There it is. There's the report. You can do people on your block. You can do every person on your block. You can do everybody in your database. Anybody you have an email address for, that's all you need is their email address and where they live to send a report to them. Here it is. You get a little branding for the Jack Barry Group. Tells you the property, map, refined value, make sure that, they're going to call. Some people call. I sent this out to my entire family when this first became available, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago. My brother lives in Cherry Hill, and I sent it to him. I'm not licensed in New Jersey, but I have referral partners over there. And he emailed back, this is not correct. My house is worth $100,000 more. Guess what? That's a win for me. He engaged. I don't care whether it's good or bad. It doesn't matter. If you engaged, there's a reason that they engaged, right? There is a reason that he said anything at all back. If he didn't care, he would have just deleted it. So the report is real. It'll have any of the photos that were on the MLS. They pull, anything they can from the MLS. They give you comps. They allow them to make, or they'll show them if I refined it, like if I know this property is in Point Breeze, it's a pretty, or it was until a month ago, a pretty vibrant market. There was not a lot of inventory there, so I can make changes here if I wanted to, but, and there's the report, and it is what? I think it's 21 pages, and people like this. So when my brother, I sent it to my brother in Cherry Hill, and he said, you should send this to my neighbor across the street. She's thinking about selling. And I have an agent that we work with in the Cherry Hill, Keller Williams, or the Williamstown office, and we got him to list the property for us, and we got a referral commission for it. So you can do this to your block where you live. You could do it to your to your condo building. You can do it. You can pick a farm where you want to work, and it's not hard to get emails, people. It's not hard to get emails from people. It's not easy, right? But that doesn't mean that it's hard. It's, you can either scour LinkedIn, Facebook. Most people's Facebook account is tied to their email address. And we send this out. Like I said, we get big response from this. I've listed over about 26 homes in the last 3 years just from RPR, just from sending this out to people and going, hey, this is what your house is worth. We make a habit of sending it out to every buyer every 6 months, just as a contact, as another point of contact. If you're doing a 33 touch or now 36 touch, this is one of the points that this could be 2 points of contact. You just send them the email. And we know it's really effective because I say this when I teach this class at GPAR. I sent it about 2 years ago, and the wife sent me an email and said, if you can get that price for me, we will sell this house today. And the next email was from her husband, who said, stop sending these effing emails. My wife wants to move. And that's how I know it's effective. When you get a negative response, you're usually very, very effective. People don't say to stop. When people respond in the negative, it's a question they don't know how to ask. That's how we look at that. We come from curiosity. And so I would start sending these out to, your opening email can even be, you can put down here in the message thing, hey, I have a new app, and what do you think about this? What do you think about this price for your house? It's a great way to just hit people without asking them, because I am not, believe it or not, I am not an extrovert. I'm an introvert that presents a lot of the time as an extrovert, but I'm really not. So doing cold calling and doing outbound lead generation, knocking on doors, send an email, that makes me very, very uncomfortable, which means I'm not going to do it in the long term. I can do it in the short term, but it will not last in the long term. If you have any experience with the DISC profile, I can modify my behavior in the short term, but I can't do it in the long term. It's not going to be a sustainable activity for me as far as lead generation goes. So like I said, we're sending these out to everybody we know. A second way that we have been very successful at doing this, and we're doing this we're starting with streets. And there is a property tax exemption. There are a few property tax exemptions for Philadelphia homeowners. You have the homestead exemption. And this is everyone is eligible for the homestead exemption. There's no income limits. There's no income minimums. Everyone is eligible for this. And for the most part, everybody saves $629 on their property taxes. And you only apply for it once, and it lasts as long as you own that property. And so the last block that we did, only 40% of the homeowners, they have to be owner occupied, and you can find that out, also you have to dig a little. We find those people, only 40% of the people have applied for the homestead. They don't think that they're eligible for it. And we reach out to them and we say, hey, there's this property tax exemption, and we'll send the link to them. Almost none of them will do it. Here's the link. It's very easy. It takes about a minute and a half to fill out. And I know this because we've done it for our property here. And
they tried the sweater, right, hon?
They never send you a confirmation that you got it. You just have to go check online.
Right, man.
2 months later, you go check it. And that tells them that I am, as Gary Keller says, become the economist of real estate in your sphere, be the real estate economist. And that tells people that I know what's going on in real estate. And again, it's just—
Mike Rosania, you're not muted. Can you mute yourself, please?
That, again, you just put the address in, and it will tell you. Let's see where it's at.
can you get, no more.
Can I get
I was
one?
gonna say, can you get your computer? It's showing us stuff, like going to different things. Oops.
So this is the property that we just sold a year ago. The market value of the property is $394,000. That's what it should be taxed at. Land, you see the land, then the taxable improvement, which is the building. Exempt land, nothing. Exempt improvement is $219,000. Now, in this case, this is not a homestead exemption. This is a loop exemption, which is the long-time owner occupant, LOOP, long-time owner occupant property tax exemption. This owner is still living on my property tax exemption because the city of Philadelphia doesn't have the capability of updating their records. They're still enjoying a $219,000 cut in their assessment, which is $219,000 times the property tax rate. They're saving $3,000 a year in their property taxes. Let me tell you something. This is a big number to tell people, to prove to them that you know what you're doing in real estate, and you should be applying to be their real estate agent. Like I said, it's not easy, but it doesn't mean it's hard.
Excuse me, Jack. This is Solon Capeta.
Yes.
I just missed what you said. What number are you recommending that we tell to potential leads?
What number?
Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
Oh, so you pulled up the property values, and then you said based on those values that you can assess how much that property should be taxed at, right?
Well, if you use the if you use the homestead exemption, it's 600. There's a percentage, but almost 99% of the properties are eligible for the $629 reduction in their real estate taxes every year.
Okay.
That's for the homestead exemption. So owner occupied, file the exemption. It takes about a minute to file it online.
Okay.
$629 reduction in their property taxes. And I don't care how much money you have or don't have, $629 is a lot of money, especially since it is for as long as you own the property. So if it's 10 years, that's a $6,200 reduction in your property taxes. That's pretty amazing. And you can do this for blocks where you live, like we do it. So I live in a condo. We're doing it floor by floor in our condo building. And it's a great way to introduce yourself to people. And we send an email and go, hey, Savan, you live on unit 1613. You don't have the homestead exemption. And a lot of the people are like, yeah, I don't think I'm eligible. I'm like, you are. I'm telling you, you're eligible if you live in the building, and you do. I'm talking to you in the building, and we're getting really great response for that. It opens up a lot of conversations, and that's all lead generation is. It's about relationships, right? I need to get in front of the most amount of people to start the relationship. It's very rare that we hit a home run right out of the park, and even if we send this report to them, the RPR report, or do the property tax exemption process, it's very rare that somebody says today, oh my God, I want to sell my house today, help me. Or I'm looking to buy a house today, can you help me? It doesn't happen that way. It's a long-term, it's a very long incubation period. For us, because we know our numbers for just about everything, it's about 7 months from first contact before someone raises their hand and says, we're ready to buy or we're ready to sell. So I need to have this is how we work, a really big funnel to get very small results. And I just have to keep doing that every day. Like I said in the beginning, when it started, persistence beats talent every single day of the week. I've got to keep doing it. The best lead generation system is the one that you use. The same way the best contact relationship management system, the best CRM, is the one that you use. I use Top Producer. It's great. Some people like Monkey Chimp or email, whatever it is. If you use it, that's great. But if you don't, somebody said that if you wanted to make money, the best way to make money in real estate is to sell stuff to realtors, because we're looking for all the shortcuts, right? We're like, oh yeah, I'll do that, $80 a month. Oh my God, that sounds great. But then we don't use it. We look at it and go, when's the last time, some of my old lead generation systems, you could open them up and see when the last time you logged in. That was scary, because I was only spending like $40 a month for this and $20 a month for that. And I go gung-ho on it for a week, and then I don't get results, so I stop. And the people who are successful are the people who keep going. Simon Sinek, I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek, and the other day he said that a lot of people, what's happening in this world today, in the economy and real estate specifically, a lot of people are just going, oh, well, I can't, I'm just waiting for it to get back to normal. And there is no normal. We're not going back to normal. That's the way I'm looking at it. That ship has sailed. Normal is gone. I'm building a new ship, which is just talking to as many people as possible, and I'm getting out as much. And almost everyone sees me on whatever social media platform they're on. Usually I'm there. I have, I don't know, 26 Facebook pages, a couple Instagrams, a couple YouTube channels. People see me out and about. God, I'm getting deals where I'm volunteering at. Some woman who I was standing next to the other day said, we moved to Philadelphia 5 years ago and to Naval Square. And with all this that's happening in the world, we're realizing we don't want to live in community living anymore. And as soon as this is over, we're going to sell our condo and buy a single family house. And can you help us? Holy crap. I cannot sit at home and not do anything. I've got to keep going, and I have to find something that works, because for me, I have a very short patience level, right? And if I don't see results right away, I'm like, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to stop doing it. This RPR thing, I advocate huge for this, right? This is part of your membership. I mean, you pay for this in your annual dues, whatever they are now, $550 a year, I think, to be a member of GPAR, PAR, and National Association of Realtors. This is the best return on my money, on my $550 a year. This is the best return right here. Like I said, if I can get, I think on average about 7 listings a year is the average. This is amazing. Questions? Anybody doing it? Anybody doing any other lead generation that they're having success with that they just found since this since the beginning of March, since this happened? Something that's working at a high level.
No.
Jack, I had a question for you. This is Stephen Alamothy.
Hi, Stephen.
I was following what you were doing with RPR. So when you pulled up a specific property, it gave you what they call as a refined value. So I'm assuming that's their version of, or their language for current market value. Do you find that there's a big discrepancy between what RPR is generating as the market value versus if you were to look at comps and run that through the MLS separately?
That is a great question, and I'll show you if it happens. The only way you're probably going to know that is if the client or whoever you send it to says, my house is worth more than that. I don't want to get involved in that at this point of my lead generation, in my lead generation pipeline. I just want to send them. I just want to have them something to say. We see here where it says 4 stars. It has 4 out of 5 stars. This is how confident the RDM confidence level is. 4 out of 5 stars. It's good. I don't really even look at it. Even if it's 1, I don't care. People will respond. More than likely, they'll respond to the negative way more than they will the positive. And they'll be like, what are you, crazy? My house is worth $100,000 more. You just raised your hand. We're going to talk. But I can refine it. This property, 121 Center Avenue. I know this house. I know this. This is the house I grew up in. We sold it years ago, but I know that it has 2 bathrooms instead of 1. I put that in. That changes that a lot. A lot of times the living area is wrong. Now we could use this. I also, I use this primarily. Probably 9 out of 10 times I use this for lead generation. The 10% of the time I use it if I'm out and about, because it's on your phone. It's very easy to use. It's very intuitive on your phone. And I could use this if I'm out with clients I could use this with to show properties. They show they show school districts, especially if you're out in the burbs. I don't know why we've been doing a lot of business in Montgomery County lately. A lot of my client base is moved, their second and third properties with us. They're moving to Montgomery County. That seems to be a big migration pattern. So it tells you all the things that are happening in there, the school district. Maps are a great way, real maps, right? Not Keller Williams maps, but physical maps. People love maps. They love them. It's a great way to draw people in. Graphs, property values, your high Ds, your high Is are going to like all this stuff. It's going to go, it tells you the group, it tells you everything. The demographics of the area, it's phenomenal. It's way more information than our MLS CMA does. So yeah, you can. I tell people to play with this. Send it out to your family just to get response from them, right? And just to get you in the habit of sending people sending this type of thing out. I sent it to my mother. I have quite a significant mother. I sent it to my mother, and she said, "Stop sending me this stuff." And I'm like, "Well, that's a response, lady. I'll take it." But yeah, you can play. I tell people to go in there, put your own house in if you own one. There is a commercial side to it. I have never gone in there with it. I have never done anything on the commercial side, mostly because this is pulling, from what we understand, RPR pulls from the local MLS, which for us is Bright, and then it uses Zillow and it uses Realtor.com. They're the three databases that it pulls from to give you that confidence value. Sometimes, you might go to Realtor.com and not be able to find a property. That happens sometimes. You might go to Bright and not be, I look on my, Jack Barry Group website, which is hooked up IDX to our local MLS. And sometimes the property's not on there. I'll have a client say, I can't find it on your website, but it's on Zillow.com. That happens. There are anomalies like that. But yeah, so you can play with it as much as you want. Somebody, might have bought a house a year ago and they did a total rehab to it. They did a gut renovation, and none of that information is online yet. The city is so far behind in updating that kind of stuff. Anybody online here have the property tax exemption on their primary residence?
No.
Yeah? Just one? I would do that today. The best way, I tell people, oh my God, I didn't know that I was eligible for this. And then I found out one day, because I felt like the guy that I talked to in the lobby the other day. And again, this takes some research, right? But how much, we got a lot of time here today, right? And what's going on. It's not hard for me to find somebody online, right? I had a guy the other day in my, I live in a condo. There's 1,200 people on our email chain. You could make a whole movie about what's going on in that email string, right? But this guy asked for some kettlebells, and I look at him and I can find nothing on him on Facebook. On LinkedIn, I find everything about him. Oh my God, able to find his email address, and I sent him directly, and I said, hey, I have an extra set of kettlebells, 20 pounds if you want them, and you have not filed for your homestead exemption on your condo. And he said, what is that? They have no idea what it is. They have no idea what it is. You become valuable to them. You become the realtor of record for that. And that's really strong. That's really, really strong. So I would do that. Any other questions? This is stuff that could prove returns for you today. You could start doing this today and get response from it. And you can email me if you have any questions, to walk you through it. The other system, doing the property tax thing, it's not, it's definitely way more steps involved in it. But again, I sat with one of my guys one day. We sat and we blocked out 3 hours a week. And he and I just sit there and we made a spreadsheet of, I just want a list of all the people. You could take condo buildings. You could take blocks of streets. You could do like Naval Square, do the whole Naval Square. Who has it and who doesn't? And now you have a list of people, of potential clients and go, hey, you didn't take your property tax exemption. And some people, this is the response I get from some, I have a coaching business, and some of my clients are like, oh, I don't feel comfortable just sending a blind email to somebody. I'm like, great, I'll take the business. Don't do it. Good. Don't be, if that's not your thing, that's okay. I will take that business. The best way to do it is on the block that you live. Make that your farm. Start. Everybody wants to sell homes in Rittenhouse Square or Society Hill or wherever, the main line. But you have the best face-to-face contact probability with people that live on your block. And most people, I found out when I lived out in West Philly, I was a realtor for 4 years, and almost no one on my block knew it because I didn't spend a lot of time out there. I left early, came home late, and almost no one on my block knew that my house was for sale. And I didn't know that until my next door neighbor's house went on the market. I came out one day and there was a sign going up, and I was devastated because I did a really bad job of telling them who I was, a really bad job. And I don't expect to get 100%, but I expect to get a good percent of the people that live in my vicinity. And then when I don't, that is my failure to tell them who I was. And this is a very easy way to tell them who you are. Very, very easy. We used to do you could, I don't know if you could put it out on Facebook if you wanted a home value. Home valuations were very, very big 2012, 2013. What's your home worth? There were a lot of apps. You could go on Facebook with it and it said, oh, put your address in here. We'll tell you what your home is worth. All that is a collection, an email collection site. That's all that is. They're just collecting emails from people, from prospective sellers. We had leaned in up until just, a month ago, we leaned more in on the buyer side because the market was so tight and it was just easier to find buyers than it was to find sellers. But now we are ramping up to go after sellers, to go after listings, because there's going to be an onslaught of listings, as we can see by the numbers that the people that pulled out of the market, the closed or the canceled listings, 265. There were 102 canceled or withdrawn. The cancel is expired in our market. The beginning of the month. Now, the end of the month there's a normal cycle. The last day of the month, a lot of expireds. But I guarantee a lot of them are not going to be relisting in the next couple of days, which is normally what happens. And they probably won't be because most of my listings are like, I had a deal fall through and the guy said, don't put it back on the market. He said, I'm just going to sit for a little bit and see what happens. Because that was an investment property. The investment guidelines have changed for mortgages with rental income. They got they're getting a little more, there's a little more complexity for investors to buy. That's what we saw in those, in two separate deals. But know your numbers. I tell people to create a farm. The best way to do lead generation is where you live, again, and create a farm. Just a couple of blocks around you. How many homes total? How many sold last year? As long as that's over about 3%, it's a good market. It's a good farm to work in. And then anybody who's lived there more than 10 years, forget about it. They're not moving. Anybody less than 2, highly unlikely they're going to sell. In between there, they're all the people that you should be concentrating on. Hit those people. Here's your property, RPR. You didn't file your tax, for your tax exemption or your long-time owner occupant. Oh my God. When we lived in University City in that property, 4430 Chestnut, our taxes went in 1 year, it shows it here. The property went, I think it was 2012. The property went from $80,000 to $390,000 in 1 year when they did the AVI, the city of Philadelphia did AVI. And our property taxes went from $1,700 to $5,400 in 1 year. And we applied for this long-time owner occupant and our taxes got cut in half. That's a big savings. That is a very big advantage that you show to people that is valuable to them, very valuable to them. Questions? I can't see the chat board. No.
I don't see anything in the, oh, I do see a question in the chat. It says, one of the very first questions said, how do you get the client's email? I don't know what that was in reference to. The time was at 11:08 a.m., so I'm not sure what exactly
Oh,
you were
okay.
talking about at that time.
Again, that takes detective work, right? I'm sure there's plenty of people on here. Well, you're all Cal Williams, so that won't be hard to find. But we go, put their name in social media. If like the guy that we found in our building, I just typed his name. It said Chuck something, whatever. It's Chuck Smith. Well, that's Charles Smith, right? Put that in Facebook, Philadelphia. I got a couple of them came up. I look, I go, oh wait, here I can tell where he worked, and I'm like, wait, is this the guy? Do a little more. I found his phone number. I could put, there's a website, put a phone number in, it gives you the address. It said 2001 Hamilton. That's the guy. Holy crap. It's not hard. You have to be a detective. Like I said, these are the things that will make you stand out from regular agents who go, this is too hard. I don't want to do this. Or the people that go, oh, this seems a little creepy. Okay, that's great. Because I'll do it. My Keller Williams website, when you're on my website, I get a text message or somebody gets a text message that you're on the site now, right? And that's the best time to strike. And some people are like, that's kind of weird. And look, it happens to me when I'm on somebody else's website. I'll get a text message, an email. It says, hey, you're looking at 121 Center Avenue. Any questions you have? Those little chat boxes pop up. This is it. This is the new world. This is what we're doing. This is how we live. Most people are used to it. And the people that aren't, that's okay. You don't want to do business with them anyway. But I have to be able to, I have to be able to take no for an answer and move on instead of getting beaten down by it. That's why, I always tell people, that's why I have a friend who's really fat and he always has the hottest girl because he's very persistent. He keeps going. He doesn't take no for an answer. He's not afraid of no. Listing agents are not afraid of no. Buying agents are afraid of no. Because the client says no to the house in the buyer situation. In the listing situation, the client says no to me. And if they say, no, I don't want to work with you, that's hard to take. And you got to move on. But if I can take no and not, I can't think about what they're going to say. That used to mess me up with lead generation for the longest time. I wouldn't call people because I was afraid, oh, they won't work. They're too busy. It's too early. It's too something. And if I can't think, I have to do. I just have to do instead of thinking about it. So find something that works and just do it, right? What else? No more questions?
No, there are a few others.
Oh, okay.
How does the refined value in RPR compared to what you find when running comps in Bright? That's the first part of the question.
We actually covered that one already.
Oh, okay, good.
Thank you.
Did he cover the second part of the question too?
No, that was a new one I threw in there. Sorry.
Okay. Does the homestead exemption reset when a property is transferred to a new owner, or does it transfer automatically?
No, it does not. Here's the longtime owner, the LOOP. If you look at this one here, 4430 Chestnut. We sold this property in January of 2019. And here we are 15 months later. The new owners are listed there and they still have the exemption. They did not apply for it. They couldn't because you have to live there for 10 years. So the city, again, doesn't have the capability of, cross-checking. They're losing about $2,500 a year. I think it's $2,600 now in taxes on that property. Again, but no, it does not transfer. These are for the owner occupant of the property. And these people, they cut, this was my personal residence. They turned this house into 5 one-bedrooms. They cut it. This is a huge, we lived in a huge house out there. And they cut it into 5 one-bedroom apartments. And they don't live there. I know they don't live. Well, you can see the mailing address. They don't live there. They're not eligible for it. But that's not, I don't get involved in that kind of stuff. That's not,
Semantics.
Yeah, well, it's I'm whatever. They gotta sleep at night. I sleep good at night. I don't have to worry about that.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Brandon here. Jack, what is your typical script with those like really negative responses about home value or anything like that? I know you said you love getting them, so I'd love to hear.
Oh yeah, so I'm not afraid. You know, like I said, look, a lot of you know, when I go out, I wear my name tag crooked, and the theory is that negative will respond. You will evoke more of a response than positive. If my name tag was straight, it looks like I work at Wawa or the gas station. But if it's crooked, they go, "Hey, your name tag's crooked." Most of them want to touch me to fix it. That happens a lot, and I don't like to be touched. I don't even like people. If you don't, if you know me, I'm a people pleaser that doesn't like people. Creates a lot of conflict. But when they're fixing the name tag, they go, "Oh, what's KW?" All that is engagement. It's the engagement factor. If you sent me a piece of junk mail in the regular mail, I throw it away. I don't open it up and go, "Stop sending me," and call you and say, "Stop sending me this mail." If I did that, there's a reason why I raised my hand. There's a reason. And we need to get to that. We need to find that motivation, what it is. I get, when I used to live on Chestnut Street, oh my God, every day, these flyers, pizza delivery, Chinese food, the Italian restaurant, what am I going to call them and tell them, "Stop sending them to me"? Some people do. They got nothing to do. I don't want to deal with those people. Sometimes one time we got a letter. This is how I know that it worked. This is why we leaned into the negative. I used to send expired letters to expired properties, right? And we would send them a letter that said, "Hey, I'm Jack Barry. I'm the best realtor in the world. We had a lot of experience selling expired properties." Well, one day we sent out the draft instead of the finished product letter. So we sent out a letter that had about 11 grammatical errors in it. And this woman called and she was livid. And she was like, "I would never use you as a realtor. You're the stupidest, dumbest person. How dare you send this to me, and stop sending this to me," and da, da, da. And I'm like, "I am